Greetings and citations, everyone. We've got a brand new patch to talk about, the Legacy of Arathor, which is quickly rising in the ranks as one of my favorite patches for War Within so far, at least for the mini patches. And that's right, I'm not calling her our favorite, but our racist, tyrannical, monstrous human from Stromgarde, Marran Trollbane, is back with a vengeance in the new Legacy of Arathor questline. And today, I'm going to discuss the questline that heavily features her as the new upcoming villain, as well as the heroes, of course. If you're unfamiliar with Marran, I did a video on her a little while ago explaining her rise and fall when faced against the Alliance and Horde. But to summarize it, she essentially is very war-driven and believes in older ideals within the Stromic Kingdom. She sees the Alliance as failures and the Horde as monsters that need to be put down. She's wrong, but that's what we're rolling with her. And for her transgressions, she was defeated, then arrested by her own blood and placed in a cell for her crimes. Unsurprisingly, her gross ideals didn't die with her, and a cell wasn't about to stop her from what she planned next. Following this much later, bandit attacks and other such violent occurrences within the Arathi Highlands draw both Geya'rah, the leader of the Mag'har, and Danath, leader of the Stromgarde, back to the place they'd call home from Khazalgar. Joined with them this time is Farron Lothar though. Fresh from the underground depths of Hollowfall, this Arathi, she's here to learn more about our land and world after years of being in Hollowfall as a young child. It's upon our encounters with these bandits that not only do we learn that the Thias Brotherhood has moved up north, but have joined in a new faction called the Red Dawn, which is a collective group of differing human groups from Strom, Stormwind, Lordaeron, and Alterac, with expressive hatred to non-humans of both the Alliance and, of course, the Horde. They're mainly made up of the peoples of Strom, loyal to Marran, the Scarlet Crusade, Thias Brotherhood, and the Syndicate. One does have to wonder if such other human groups like Ashvane's Company or those still loyal to Dalen could still join within their ranks. Could be interesting to see new and old human groups turn up as a sort of dark alliance formed of only human factions. Finding such fun individuals within even the Kingdom of Strom, as we try and help them and their peoples, discovering their even pushing races of the Alliance who once lived within Stromgarde out, and those that remained aren't treated any better. While we act as a deputy on Danath's behalf, we encounter Joseph the Enlightened. Previously, Joseph was a Scarlet Crusader whom the Alliance worked with during the wake of the Cataclysm, on trying to redeem the Crusade and rejoin the ranks of the Alliance. Unfortunately, as time progressed, he lost his mind. It would seem his mind is still quite lost, just in other ways now, as he preaches his racist rhetoric against the Horde and the Alliance. Danath is seemingly called by Geya'rah and the Horde to Hammerfall, and leaves his new second command, who's definitely not going to be as traitorous as the last one that he left behind. Which was Marran, by the way. From the prison, we get our first encounter, well, in-game encounter, with Marran, whom gives us a varying warm welcomes depending on our race and faction. Obviously, if you're Horde, it's not pleasant. If you're Alliance and aren't a human, it's not much better. She seems to only warm up to those who are human, even encouraging the likes of Farron to join her side and that she'll soon share in their perspective one day. Especially desiring Farron on their side given she's currently the only blood of Lothar left. At least in the Eastern Kingdoms right now. If you didn't know, the Lothar bloodline is extremely important and legendary, especially within Strom and other human kingdoms, as the family of Lothar were kind of the ones who allowed the elves and other humans to unite back in the day. And it's quite clear she's the leader of the Red Dawn, but Second Command doesn't think that there's any merit to that. Definitely not suspicious at all. Together with Farron, we go to see where all the supplies that were meant to go to Stromgarde went off to. We fall to where more attacks were carried out, this time in Refugee Point, where it was attacked by Joseph the Awakened, which we fight him, but he escapes thanks to his bubble. Hopefully he doesn't use that again. Right? Right? In the Highlands, we also encounter another Mag'har orc, this one being Karga Bloodfury, whom is technically Geya'rah's cousin and also Thrall's. Kinda. She is the daughter of Lokra, Draka's sister, and Karg is her father. They were the Frostwolves we encountered back on Alternate Draenor within Frostfire Ridge, who were nearly brought low by both the Iron Horde and the estranged brother of Durtan, the Iron Wolf, better known as Fenris Wolfbrother. It's really neat that they had a daughter in that timeline and that she's active here in the Highlands, and it's just great to just have more to Thrall's technical family. I hope we see more of Karga Bloodfury in the future, especially at her family side. She helps us out, and it's becoming more and more apparent something big is going on, and that Denath is in danger. Running out to Hammerfall, the very place where Ogrim Doomhammer died when liberating the orcs, now made into one of the larger bases in the region for the Horde. Their human refugees are being treated as guests by the orcs. Not all are happy with this, but it's something that Eitrig encourages. There is even some nice dialogue between Farin and Eitrig in regards to this, mentioning why Eitrig holds this hospitality to his former foes.
Humans, why help them?
Long ago, a human showed me great kindness. I strive to honor his memory by protecting the weak and defenseless.
Seeing Hammerfall and talking to your people has been an eye-opening experience, Eitrig. Harboring refugees no matter their creed. My people would do the same.
I do not doubt that. Both of our peoples have suffered through dark times. We may live here in peace now, but this site was once witness to unspeakable horrors. The Alliance imprisoned many orcs here in an internment camp. We liberated and claimed it, naming it after our fallen war chief, Ogrim Doomhammer.
The Alliance held your people here? In an internment camp? And yet, you harbor human refugees?
And yet... Lamplighter, there have been far worse crimes committed against my people. Such is war. But our teachings say if we are wronged, we can cause more suffering or end it. We now choose to end the cycle.
I think that my people could learn a great deal from yours, Eitrig. Thank you for welcoming me here.
As the Outriders are sent by Eitrig to search for any signs of Denath, Farin and Geya'rah move out to deal with the recent troll attacks by the Witherbark Trolls. Which we also learn that the attacks were encouraged by a band of the Syndicate. Learning this from a group of brothers whom were formerly a part of the Red Dawn, but are leaving it. Shooting the information when we rescue them that the refugees inside aren't really refugees at all, but are spies planted by the Red Dawn to soon attack Hammerfall. The reintroduction of the Syndicate wanting their kingdom back is interesting, and marred with some lore I hope that gets some development in the future. Considering Ultrak now belongs to both the Frostwolf clan and the Stormpike Dwarves, I do think there is a story there that can and should be written. It definitely makes sense that the Syndicate's hatred for both the Orcs and Dwarves makes plenty sense, as they took their kingdom, basically. I'm not rooting for them in the slightest, but it is a conflict I can realistically see touched on someday between the three factions. We fend off the attackers in Hammerfall, ridding the flames with some shamanistic help. Save the Horde that are under attack, and follow it up with yet another showdown with Joseph, whom we definitely defeat this time, and he's gone. Never mind. Meanwhile, the Wolf Riders from before found something, and we discover a trail of very orcish weapons, very old orcish weapons, planted on the bodies of Denath's caravan. Eitrig notes that it's the work of Argarak, an outpost they once used in the Fourth War that was now abandoned. Why abandoned and not torn down? Well, according to the quest designer, they did try to have it be torn down, but it just did not work for the quest's structure. I personally would have had the orcs still stationed there as a home and not an actual war camp base that it once was. Or hell, it could have been a nice new grounds for negotiations between the Alliance and the Horde with some aesthetically nice spikes. You can never go wrong with orcish spikes, am I right? It's just kind of odd to me that neither the Alliance and especially the Horde would have kept an eye on the base. But, oh well. We split up again, and Farine goes off to do her own thing, making sure Stromgarde is safe. There's a difference here between the Alliance and Horde, and I don't really have an Alliance leveled for that, so, the rundown from what I've seen is that Niles was a traitor, big surprise, and Marran is now free to do as she pleases. You, the Alliance hero, free Brewston and Farine, rallying the Stromgarde troops still loyal to the Alliance to help bring her down. Meanwhile with the Horde, we stumble on in and deal with the Red Dawn station there, collecting all of the Iron Forge supplies that were originally sent to aid Strom in the first place. Xal'atath is then freed from his prison. He was originally left there to rot, and we make our way back to Stromgarde, where Farine and Marran throw down.
Stop this! Xal'atath fought to save all of Azeroth.
He sold us out, so the Alliance and Horde could wage war in Kar-Zalgal. You'll never understand. For Arathor! The Red Dawn will rise again.
No! Do not make her a martyr. Our history will read. Faerun, true daughter of the Arathi, allowed Marran to live without her title and name. The Red Dawn vanished from the Highlands forever.
This is not over.
And that's ultimately the questline for the most part. There is a nice moment between Xal'atath and Farine on the tower, but ultimately, that's the juicy parts of the questline done. All in all, I really enjoyed this questline, as it was a back to basics of following a storyline with both the Alliance and the Horde, which they should do more of, by the way. It's got orcs, it's got humans, it's got lore on them both, with a lot of nods to Cataclysm, Warlords of Draenor, Battle for Azeroth, and of course, the recent Heartlands storyline, which again, was a nice touch that we got several months ago. I really, really liked that short story. This is the stuff I want to see more of in Warcraft, so I'm going to encourage that they do more of this in the future for big patches and little patches alike. And it was a serious treat to have Geya'rah and Eitrigg again, even if we unfortunately did not get to hear Geya'rah, whose voice I can only assume was a part of the strikes, just like good old Renzik. As somebody who adores the orcs, you know I love having them. Yes, it would have been awesome to have Thrall here too, but that didn't take away from my enjoyment of this questline, at least. This time. And the friendship between Eitrigg and Xal'atath was never something I honestly considered, but the more time it's been given, it makes sense, mirroring a lot of what Tyrion and Eitrigg once have. Rip Tyrion. And I absolutely wish to see more of it. This is a lot better than their rivalry back in the Warfront, back during Battle for Azeroth. That isn't to say that I don't have problems with this questline though. I don't think we should have fought the Forest Trolls again. We've done that enough already. Could have replaced such conflicts with the Ogres, instead who've a long rivalry with the Orcs and everyone else in the region. And with a story that's biggest themes is working together with old enemies and overcoming bigotry, it would have been nice to have the Forest Trolls join in for both the Orcs, Strom, and Farine to form a sort of agreement and maybe alliance with them. I especially think this would have been good for the Orcs and Farine, who could have finally acknowledged that the Forest Trolls were, well, done dirty in the long run, but also just their people too. Hopefully that's a story that they do tackle in Midnight, as I would love to have the Amani form a unity with the Horde again, some way and somehow. Amani allied race for the Horde? Amani customization for trolls? Please? Please? The other tidbits that I and many others took issues with, it's not that we didn't have issues with the troll one either, there was plenty of people like that too, was the sparing of Marran Trollbane, whom has already the track record of spitting on that mercy by creating problem after problem, even inside a cell. They try to pin that killing her would just make her a martyr, and that stripping her of her titles is a better alternative, but I have to disagree on that one. I don't think that the Red Dawn will care about the loss of titles. maybe Stromgarde will at most, but I don't know about that. But killing her here would have removed the head from this metaphorical battle hydra for the Red Dawn. Sure, they'd still be active, sure, there are other heads and other leaders, but without a main leader, they would be less organized. She's the one who formed this group in the first place, after all. While I do have issues on how they handle her survival, I don't actually mind her surviving, as it allows her to continue as an antagonist for a later date. Either to join with the Arathi Empire, or form an empire of her own of leading this Red Dawn against the likes of the Horde and the Alliance, which I'm down for. Let's get her, let's beat her up. I personally would have just had the Red Dawn help her escape Stromgarde, rather than just having Danath spare her, as it just makes Danath look incompetent for letting her go. The orcs themselves said he should have done it too, and they're not wrong. Some people are just beyond redemption. You can't redeem everyone. Some villains just need to be put down. Give me an enemy I have no qualms in fighting, just like the Mogu, the Legion, and of course, this Red Dawn is no exception. They're racist humans. Let's just get rid of them. There's no place for them on Azeroth at this point. And it gives many avenues for many good human leaders and characters, and of course some orcs and the Horde to jump into the fray. Like before, I'd love to see the likes of Rexxar conflict with evil Kultirans again, harkening back to Warcraft 3 properly. Gives him something to do, and it makes sense. Just as well give him other things to do besides repeat history too, of course. I love Rexxar, but let's maybe not always just have him fight Kultirans to fight Kultirans. But I do want them to do this, if that makes any sense. Maybe even having Tess, of all things, having to confront some of her Ogilnean people. Have this be her trial of fire, there we go, as the new Queen of Gilneas, seeing her own people join this Red Dawn. There's a lot of good Alliance and Horde versus the Red Dawn stories that you can have here. So I do think the Red Dawn is a good addition of evil factions for Warcraft to contend with, especially for orcs and humans, of course. And I look forward to the day when Marran is ultimately dealt with for her disgusting crimes. Definitely killing her this time, right? It's honestly what Warcraft does best with when it comes to racist tyrants. Right, Geya'rah? But what do you all think? Did you like the Legacy of Arathor questline despite its issues? Do you also like fighting the Red Dawn? Who do you hope to see against it or rise in this evil human faction join in it? Let me know all of that down below. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to hear more from me and my community, feel free to join us in our Discord, or if you like me enough, please support me on my Patreon like these amazing folks here. You can also hit that join button too. All helps in keeping this channel alive and well. But until next time, my friends, see ya!